Welcome to the Good Morning from the Chicken Coop podcast with Kim Johnson, your creative strategist and master mindset coach. Filled with inspiration, distinctions, perspectives, and possibilities, we help you to cultivate a mindset that leads you to create the best version of yourself you could ever imagine. Join Kim every morning from one of her favorite happy places, her chicken coop, along with all her chickens.
Hey everybody, good morning from the chicken coop. So I want to ask you a question about making excuses, because for me, this is something that I know inherently. I do it myself. We all do it. We're all trained to do it from the time we're kids. There are certain triggers in the world that cause this to come up. And making excuses is a black hole. It's a vortex that you can't get out of. You become sucked into it regularly because nobody wants to take accountability. God forbid we actually take accountability for our actions. But even more than our actions, it sucks when we have to take accountability for the outcomes we have in our life. Because we don't want to say, hey, it's because of me. Hey, it's because how I showed up. Hey, it's because of the choices I've made. We just say, hey, this is because I did this, I did this, I did this. And then that was the result of it. And we look at it like, yeah, I made the decision to move to the new company, but, they told me X, Y, and Z. And the truth is that probably is very accurate. That's what happened. And maybe you were lied to, and maybe somebody told you information that was not accurate. Maybe somebody led you to believe something was going to be different. But ultimately, they are not responsible. You are responsible, because at any point in time when you saw things coming, when you heard the shifts, when you maybe didn't do the due diligence you should have, when you didn't look at the people in the company individually, do the research, see who you would be working with and for. And I'm using that as an example, but this goes across the board. It doesn't matter if it's a personal relationship or a business relationship. Ultimately, we have the responsibility of accountability. And it's not just for our actions, but it's for the outcomes of the actions. So if you are in a position right now in your life where you're looking at the conditions around you and you're like, I don't like them, it's really easy to turn around and say, well, it's because of this, or it's because of this external factor. It's really difficult to stop and pause and say, nope, this is because of me. This is because of something I did. This is because of how I show up. Let's say that you find yourself in a position where you're not as healthy as you want to be. And you know you're not healthy, but you don't do anything about it. And every day, day after day after day after day, you make excuses for not going to the gym, or not eating better, or making unhealthy choices when you do eat. And those unhealthy choices really start to show up in your body. And then all of a sudden, you find yourself with something simple like high blood pressure. And high blood pressure can be controlled with a pill. But the reality is, if you have high blood pressure, there are underlying conditions that 90% of the time you are responsible for, because it has to do with weight and diet. That is a fact. Weight, diet, and exercise, those three things are really the driving factor. So then you're too busy during the week to work out. You're too busy to even walk. You're too busy to put on a Fitbit and try to figure out how many steps you take in. You're too busy to go and actually make shakes for lunch or pack them ahead of time. So you just end up eating whatever's there, whatever's available anywhere you go. And before you know it, that high blood pressure leads to having a heart attack. And then you say, I don't know what happened. I had a heart attack. Well, no, you did. You had the warnings all along, you just didn't want to heed them. And this is where the black hole comes in. This is where it just sucks you in. And in this society, the way we are right now, I will tell you, accountability is something that is so missing. Nobody wants to take responsibility for anything. Everybody wants to pass the buck and put it out there and say, hey, it's not me, it's something else. And it's so conditioned. Even I find it easy to say I can make an excuse and get away with it right now, because society has made it that simple. And it takes really, really hard mental work to say, I will not participate in that reality. We create our reality. We create our reality. Hear me say that. We create our reality. So if we want to create a better reality, we have to have better thoughts. We have to have better actions. We have to have better beliefs. We have to act into it differently. And if you are creating excuses anywhere in your life, and I know you are because I do it too, everybody does. This is not a, oh, I'm beyond that. No, you don't understand. I don't make excuses. Bullshit. Everybody does it. I do it myself. And it doesn't make a difference if you believe it or you don't believe it. It's a reality, and we have to monitor it and say, okay, sure, a few excuses here and there, I get it. It's just part of the human condition. It's part of being human. It's our humanness coming through. But the truth is, we have to look at it, and we have to hold the line, and we have to stop ourselves. Because if we don't, nobody else will. And if we don't take responsibility for what we have going on, and we don't take responsibility for what we are creating on a consistent basis, and look at it and say, no, I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with being treated like this by my partner. I'm not okay being treated like this by my family. I'm not okay doing all this. And the reason it's all happening is because you're letting it happen. You're the one that's letting it happen. Maya Angelou has a quote about, we teach people how to treat us. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. By our actions, by what we allow, by what we disallow, by how we show up in those moments. Everything in this human experience that we are having, because I truly believe that we are spiritual beings having a human experience to teach us things. It is all about that. It is all about that. We create it all. So you have to stop and pause and put a sense of reality around it and tell yourself, I'm going to have a real good come to Jesus meeting with myself about where this is showing up. And don't lie to yourself, because it happens. It happens to me. I made an excuse the other day saying, I didn't get a chance to take care of that, dealing with all the stuff that I need to for paperwork, because I hate doing paperwork. I know you guys have heard that before. When I've told you that on the podcast before, I don't like doing paperwork. It's just not my thing to sit still and in front of a computer. And I made an excuse, and I'm aware of it. I'm here to admit it. I made an excuse. I just said, I'm not in the mood to do it. I feel like I have a headache. My back hurts. I can't concentrate. No, it wasn't that I couldn't concentrate. I didn't want to. I just didn't want to. So tell the truth. Don't make the excuse. Be honest with yourself, and then shift, because that's the only way we're all going to make headway. So I know this was a kick-ass one today, but I need you to pay attention to this piece, because if you're ever going to get yourselves to a place you want to be and thrive, you've got to be honest with yourself about this stuff. So no more going down the excuse route without being aware of it. Sure, you're going to do it anyway, and I know you're going to make excuses because I'm going to do it, because that's just the human condition. But it's do it and be aware of it. Okay, I adore you guys. I hope you have a fabulous day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.